Okay, so hey guys, I am Jay. I'm here with Mark.
Hello, guys.
We're going to be talking about the Battle of Waterloo and what led up to it and the aftermath. So it essentially all started during the Revolution, is when Napoleon gained fame, and he became one of the best European commanders at the time. And after that, after the wars, he came to power in a coup d'etat after the Revolution, and became Emperor of France in 1804. After the Revolutionary Wars began the Napoleonic Wars, ranging from 1799, and in that time he was attempting to expand France's territory. He was more of a conqueror than anything.
So I think Napoleon was more of like a dictator, like a military general. Just like rather than trying to be like the monarch, he was more focused on the
Expanding of his territory.
and his army.
And his army, yes. And he was also like being a dictator. He was also like not. He didn't put himself on top just because he was a military general. He was also kind of like elected to be the leader of Europe, or not Europe, from
too.
France.
He wanted to permanently be the leader of France as well.
Yeah, he did. But when he went to invade Russia, he took heavy losses. His French army was really depleted after that, which I wouldn't say was a good play on his part.
Yeah, I thought that was kind of dumb. I don't think he knew what to expect from Russia. Like, I don't think, like, when he was on his way to Russia, I don't think he was thinking about, like, the weather conditions up there. I feel like he was expecting something similar to his... Though I don't know what he was actually thinking, but I thought it was just a little dumb just going to Russia thinking that it'd be easy to invade. But they did retreat afterwards, so...
Yeah, but with the size of his army, afterwards he was left really vulnerable, and that's when the Sixth Coalition was like successful in defeating Napoleon, and it resulted in Napoleon being exiled to the island of Elba. He got separated from his family, and he spent 10 months there.
He also had a few of his troops there with him too.
Yeah, they
So
sent
he
him with
wasn't alone.
or as the story goes, they sent him with about 1,000 men and like a really small navy. Nothing too big, just like something to please him.
I also personally think that if you were to exile someone, I feel like it should be only him. Like, I feel like having 1,000 troops and a few ships with you, you could easily escape the island if you really wanted to, and he did.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, he heard what was going around in France. He heard that the monarchy and nobility returned, that King Louis XVIII, he came back to power, and when that happened, the old military vets that fought with him during the Revolution, they weren't being treated as well, and that gave Napoleon what he thought was an upper hand, because he thought that when he went there, he'd have backup when he ever if he ever came back to take back the rule of France. Yeah, and he thought that he was also like afraid of him not just being left alone on Elba. Like he might be assassinated or sent to even more remote islands, because the people on the mainland, like King Louis, he feared that he may come back to power. So what he does is he escapes from Elba and returns to France, and the French authorities already heard about Napoleon's escape from Elba by the time he was leaving. So they sent like a small army to go deal with him and force him to, surrender, capture, kill him, whatever they needed to do. But, or as the story goes, as soon as he got off his horse, when he reached land... Unarmed, yeah. He said, "Go on, shoot your emperor."
You want to kill your emperor? Here I am.
And they rallied around him.
To say that though, like, I can't imagine. I could never do that, especially in front of an army that was sent to kill me. He's very confident in how he handled the situation.
Yeah, but like as I said, it's just a story. Like we don't know for sure.
Yeah.
And so that apparently got the army that was sent to capture / kill him. That got the army to join him, to rally with him. And so that army with him starts marching to France, or not France, to Paris. And when King Louis XVIII hears of this, he just runs away. He is not willing to deal with that.
Yeah, he kind of just like dipped.
Yes.
He's like out of here.
Yeah. So by March of 1815, Napoleon was able to retake control of Paris in France. And that was pretty much the beginning of the 100 Days, which was actually 111 around, but it doesn't sound as good, so people just say 100 Days. And that was between March to July of 1815. Before Napoleon was able to reach Paris, the rest of Europe also heard that he was returned, and once they heard that he returned they formed another coalition, the Seventh Coalition, to stop him, because they didn't like Napoleon being there at all.
Yeah, they didn't want him conquering the lands again.
So, when Napoleon heard that the rest of Europe wasn't too happy with him, he either had two options. He could wait for the combined forces of Europe to attack him, or he could go on the offensive before the coalition had a chance to regroup. So, as you would think, he went on the offensive, and so he goes after Great Britain and Prussia, and that takes place in what is now known as Belgium, and that's where the Battle of Waterloo happened. And the Battle of Waterloo was the most decisive because it was his last real battle. The rest are just kind of skirmishes after that, but yeah. So, after the Battle of Waterloo, the opposing commanders, the Duke of Wellington and the British, at the Battle of Waterloo, the opposing commanders were the Duke of Wellington from British and Blucher from the Prussian side. And Napoleon, with him, he was severely outnumbered. He had 70,000 troops, 70,000 troops. And the other side, together, they had around 120 to 130,000 troops. That is quite a few to be outnumbered by.
From what I got from researching, most of Napoleon's troops were very experienced. They were veterans, so they knew how to fight. While the other side, they weren't that experienced. It was like citizens. They weren't well trained troops that had years of experience, unlike Napoleon's army. I feel like they were just citizens that were just.
I feel they were just trained they haven't been to battle yet.
Yeah, that's pretty much.
And I think in my opinion, even though Napoleon lost, I feel that he did a pretty good job considering the weather conditions.
And the outnumberness.
And how much he was outnumbered. The ground was very muddy because of all the rain that was going on, and when it's muddy out, it's really hard to play the offensive. With that kind of weather, it's more you more have the advantage if you're playing a defensive side. So what happened, because of that, around 40,000 troops were killed from either side. Killed, missing, injured, or both. So what he was trying to achieve with this was to try to take out all their, the remnant armies before the 7th Coalition had time to fully assemble.
But they were already almost done assembling, weren't they?
Yeah. And, he loses this battle, but when that happened, he surrendered himself to the British because he saw that the Prussian side, when he was during the Battle of Waterloo, he saw that the Prussian side was coming, and he was actually more afraid of the Prussian than he was of the British.
He thought that if he gave himself up to the Prussians, he would get killed or worse, tortured.
So that's why he surrendered himself to the British. And once they did, they did to him what he actually also feared, was send him to an even more remote island, which was what was the island again, Mark?
Island of St. Helena.
Oh yeah, it was the island of St. Helena, and just to give you a feel for how far away that is, that's near the southwest tip of Africa. It is pretty far. He did not like that at all, but after he being surrendered, that's what he had to deal with.
At least he got to live,
Yeah. After 6 years of being stranded on St. Helena, he died. It was believed that he died of stomach cancer just because of like how well preserved his body was, supposedly.
That is one of the myths or rumors of how he died, but ever wondered how he lived his last 6 years on that island? Like, did he ever try, like plan to like return somehow, or did he kind of just accepted it?
I think at that point, when you have that many losses, it would be really hard to gain supporters from France again. And it would be also really difficult to get back to France from where you are. Like, that's a heck of a way to go.
How old do you think he was at the time? I assume he was in his 40s, 50s, maybe?
You said he was 51 years old when he died.
Oh, okay. I was close.
Okay, I think that's all that we're going to be discussing today. Mark, I want to thank you so much for, helping me with all this.
It was a pleasure.
You've played a huge part, editing, researching, helping us find a good recording.
Yeah, I mean,
software.
I use Clipchamp for video editing / audio editing. Took me a bit, but it's pretty easy because you have all your sources here, just in this editing software. I mean, you can cut audio.
Yeah, all the
clips.
bells and whistles.
Yeah, pretty much. And for our audio, to record that, we used OBS Studios. And with OBS, you have a lot of variety of what you could do with this. Like, you could use your cameras, you could use like microphones, you could record your screen. You can do a lot of things with it. And both Clipchamp and OBS are free to download. Like, you don't gotta pay, no subscription. Well, Clipchamp does have a monthly thing for more features, but other than that, they're both free to download, and you can use them right now.
Thank you so much, Mark. I will definitely check it out. Yep, that's all I want to say. Thanks. See ya.
See you guys.